I'm making this video to answer some of the questions that Deconverted Man gave me that I asked for when I put up a video. And this is the low-tech way that I have to do the easiest job that I can come up with in the shortest amount of time.
Looking at a video called Ultimate Questions. Is there a God? Where do we go when we die? This video is so simplistic in its presentation and the questions that it asks that I don't think that I even need to bother with the logical fallacy counter. So here we go.
Don't be deceived. The universe around you did not come into existence by accident. Nothing comes from nothing.
How do you know that that's true? How do you know that nothing can come from nothing? How do you know that the universe is not just here by random chance or random events or what have you? You're just asserting these things to be true without any evidence to show that they are true.
Well, the evidence that I would use would be just my own observations. I've never seen anything come from nothing, and so I would ask you for a example of that, like a repeatable experiment. People have been asking me for that. So an experiment that shows nothing becoming something. And I use a double negative there, but I see examples where something becomes something or something becomes something else. But so far, I haven't seen anything that, just comes from nothing. And I can't rule it out, but I just haven't seen that in nature. So that's an observation that I've made.
Things are too delicately balanced not to be a planned creation.
Sounds like an appeal to personal incredulity to me. Well, how else do I explain all this? It seems so well delicately balanced. It has to be created. How else do I explain it? That's just asserting what you want to be true as being true. It's not giving an actual argument and or evidence to point out that that statement is true. You just don't see how it could all come together any other way than the way that you think that it's come together. But that doesn't mean that you're right. It just means you're appealing to your own personal incredulity, thinking it can't be anything else but this. It's an argument to and from ignorance.
Well, I would say that it is definitely my observation, but I have basis for that. And it is possible that things just come into existence, like something like a pencil. It's relatively simple. I mean, it's just a piece of wood with lead in it, and it's got like it doesn't have much of a rubber left, but it's got a little metal thing. And this could come into existence by itself. You could walk down the street and there it is and say, well, okay, I think that just came into existence by itself because it's just these things. But then when you get into a human cell and the DNA and how complicated just one cell is, that's very complicated. So it could come into existence by itself, but it is incredible. And so, like you say, it seems incredible to me. Here, this pencil, it's got like a marking of a manufacturer on it, but that doesn't prove that it was made by them, because those things could have come into existence by themselves randomly. It's like paint, in the indentations, but there's no proof that this pencil was made by an intelligence. And so I have to grant you that.
We are not the inhabitants of a 1 in a trillion multiverse.
How do you know that? That's a big claim to make. Where's your scientific proof to back up that claim?
That just
Well, I remember when my uncle first mentioned that to me. It's back in the early 70s. He kind of explained it as, well, we do this or we do that, each time we make a decision, it could go either way, and that breaks off into another universe. But that would include every single action you make moment by moment. And it wouldn't just be you, it'd be everything in existence on the earth, including the insects and everything second by second. And so you would multiply that by how many trillion creatures there were, or atoms in the ocean. As the ocean is moving, this particle moved here, and this H2O molecule moved here instead of here, and then you extrapolate that over the entirety of our universe, and so it would be trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of multiverses. But there again, from my observations, that's a thought experiment. And what I mean by that is everything, all of those trillions of universes basically die with the passage of time, with each second. Like, I pick up this pencil and I move it here, or I move it here. But once I've done that, it's been done, and I can't redo it because time moves in one direction. And I'm not going to get into an argument about whether or not time moves in one direction. Nobody's come back from the future to tell us otherwise, and I think that I don't think that time could move in two directions. I don't want to discourage anybody who's doing a sci-fi movie about that, because they're great. I love that. So please keep doing those, but remember there's an FI in sci-fi and what that stands for. But if I have this pencil and I drop it, that's happened. There's no redo for that. So what's happened, and that just basically killed that particular piece of the multiverse, or that universe, when I did that, because it's now already done. It's in the past. And what's in the future is a possibility. But if you have a decision to make tomorrow, keep that in mind. I mean, you don't get a redo. And so anyways, I guess I could say that I would agree that the multiverse made for some really good stories, inspired some good DC stories like Crisis on Infinite Earth. But multiverse is the opposite of universe, in that uni is one, and we choose that name to encompass what we know as reality. So if we discovered that there's more to what we can discover, that basically becomes part of our universe. So it would never really be a multiverse. If we discover there's more out there, if there's more, and it's, I understand that, what they're saying is it's like two pieces of paper on top of each other, and that you never can bridge that. But then again, a week or so ago on Michio Kaku's radio show, now he didn't take credit for this theory because I don't think he would want to, but he just relayed that somebody had proposed that dark matter, or the gravitational pull, what they're looking for as dark matter, could also be explained as a gravitational pull from a parallel universe. Now he says a parallel universe. Now they'd all be in the same place, more or less. I mean, it's not like one of the multiverses that was made 1 billion years ago would be closer to us than one that was made 1 million years ago or yesterday. I mean, basically they're as close as you can be and as far as you can be at the same time. Because, well, anyways, and my point was that if there's gravity going through from one to the other, then they're connected. They're not separate anymore. There's a connection. And as far as like paper thin, that's just an analogy, because you go to Office Depot, you get 500 sheets of paper and they're this thick. It's not like 2 dimensions. Like when they say 2-dimensional, that's not literal. It's still 3-dimensional paper. And so that analogy isn't complete. And if they were actually a separate universe, there'd be absolutely no way to transverse that. but it makes no sense that there is such a thing. It really doesn't. It's a thought experiment. It's an interesting idea. I've seen more evidence for some of the things that I'm proposing later on in this video, much more evidence than the zero evidence of the multiverse. But I did come up with this one video which shows one of my favorite atheists, or he was dearly missed, Christopher Hitchens, who had something to say about that, more or less. He said, well, this is what he said.
At some point, certainly, we're all asked, well, which is the best argument you've yet come up against from the other side? And I think every one of us picks the fine-tuning one as the most intriguing.
The Goldilocks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Fine-tuning the 1 degree, well, 1 degree, 1 hair different and nothing. But even though it doesn't prove design, doesn't prove a designer, could all have happened without it. You have to spend time thinking about it, working on it. It's not a trivial. We all say that.
Well, okay, what he's basically saying there is that it's more like a 1 in a trillion. There's like many zeros behind the odds of everything lining up the way that things do line up in our universe. And one way to explain how that could happen would be if there was an infinite number of universes and we happen to be in the one that is, well, what I said here, supporting of life and stable laws of physics. And so that's a big argument. Like he said, I mean, that's the one that I would see that people would struggle with, because I did. It's understandable. Well, I haven't really gotten that far in this video. I'm only about a couple minutes in. So I think I'm at like a 15-minute limit on my account. To see what happens when I click this. This might just be the end of this video. I probably should end it here, and then just make another video and just upload this. This is the easiest way. I mean, it's only taken me 13 minutes to answer that. It would have taken me a lot longer to type it. So you can just consider this the end of this video and move on to another one whenever I do that. But I do have more to say. There's plenty of things that he did a good job of coming back at me on this. So I wanted to answer the questions that he had. I'm the one who asked for the questions, and I have time constraints, so I'm just going to do what I can do. But yeah, I'll continue on this a little bit later. Sorry about the low-tech aspect of this. This is, there again, I don't really have time to get into the, how-to as far as the videos go, as far as making something that is better than what you're seeing right now. But if you're listening, you can get something out of what I'm saying, I hope, see what I'm trying to say. And if you have further questions, you can ask those too, and we'll go from there.